Hello and welcome. Welcome to the learning session number 1 of a new chapter, chapter number 3, Circle of Geometry. So, before we begin any new chapter in any subject, we first try to understand what is so special about this chapter, right? Why should you learn this chapter? So, the answer is this. There are an amazing number and variety of situations in science where circles are used to model physical phenomena. Okay, so in science, especially in physics, there's so many models which use circle as its approximation. Okay, so for what is the meaning of approximation and what is the meaning of model? So if I ask you what is the shape of the orbit of Earth? If you say circle, you're not exactly correct, but you're very close, right? The orbit of Earth around the sun is not exactly circular, but it's very much nearby a circle. It very much looks like a circle, but it's not exactly a circle. So what you're going to do is to start making a few assumptions, to start calculating a few things, to start doing the math a little bit. What you're going to do is you're going to approximate. You're going to assume that it's a circle, even though it's not a circle. You're going to make that approximation. Okay, let me assume that it's a circle, and then let me make my calculations. Let me put forth the theory. Let me put the calculations in place. Let me do the math and make some predictions. And once I make those predictions, I'm going to check with the measurements, and I'm going to check whether they are matching or not. They'll obviously not match exactly. Why? Because you have not taken the exact shape. You have taken approximation as the circle. So the predictions and your measurements are not going to match exactly, but even if they're nearby, you know that you're on the correct path, right? If they're not matching at all, it means you've done something terribly wrong, and your entire model of the orbit is completely wrong, right? So to prove your theory, to make sense of your theory, and to make the calculations and mathematics easy, you're going to use circles as the first approximation. Okay, it will be an assumption for orbits of planets, orbits of moons around planets, movement of electrons in an atom. Whenever you draw an atom, there's a nucleus at the center, and electrons we assume to be moving in circular orbits. Are they circular? In reality, they are not circular. Okay, but we assume it to be circular so that it can make our mathematics very easy. Okay, and slowly, once you start moving on to higher and higher grades, we'll see the actual shape. Okay, the actual shape is going to make the mathematics much more complicated. Also, motion of a vehicle around a curve. Whenever your car is taking a turn, whatever that curve is, you assume that it's a part of a bigger circle, and then again, it is going to make your calculations easy. Shapes of cyclones and galaxies are also assumed to be circles, and then we make a few calculations. Okay. Then spheres and cylinders. What's the connection between spheres and cylinders with respect to circle? हम लोग spheres और cylinders वाला chapter तो नहीं पढ़ रहे, हम लोग circle पढ़ रहे. But spheres are made up of circles. Cylinders also have the top portion as a circle, bottom portion as a circle, and in between you will have a curved surface, right? So these two are also closely linked with circles. So spheres and cylinders are also used as first approximation for the shape of planets and stars. Say for example, if I ask you, what is the shape of Earth? If you say sphere, you're not exactly right, but you're not wrong either. Okay. So the exact shape of the Earth, it's circular, or rather it's spherical, but upar se it's flatter, and at the equator it's a little more bulging. Okay, upar se chapta hai, beech mein se thoda jada hai. So it's not exactly a sphere, it's called a geoid, but you can assume it to be a sphere and make the calculation, you will get very close answers. Your answers will be very close to what you should have gotten. Okay. Similarly, spheres and cylinders are used as approximation for trunks of trees, drops of waters, and manufactured objects like wires, pipes, ball bearings, balloons, pies. Pies matlab cake, okay, and wheels. All of these are going to use spheres and cylinders as their approximation so that it makes their calculations much easier. Okay, so this is why circle is important, and this is what's worth learning in this chapter. Okay. So let us quickly revise the basic terms related to a circle. Okay, so if this is your circle and this is your center, if you draw a line joining the center of a circle to any point on the circle, okay, समझो यहाँ पे join कर दिया, यहाँ पे join कर दिया, यहाँ पे join कर दिया, all of those will be called as radii of the circle. So this is your radius. It joins the center of the circle to any point on the circle. What if you draw a line which is joining 2 points on the circle but is also passing from the center? Okay, एक ऐसी लाइन जो 2 पॉइंट्स पे टच कर रही है सर्कल को बट सेंटर से भी पास हो रही है. you will call that as the diameter, and diameter will be double of radius, right? यहाँ पे एक radius है and यहाँ पे भी एक radius है, so this radius plus this radius will give you the length of the diameter. Okay, next, what if you draw a line which is joining 2 points on the circle but it is not passing through the center? सर्कल के 2 पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन कर रहा है बट सेंटर से पास नहीं हो रहा है. व्हाट विल यू call that line? You will call that as chord. Okay, so this segment is called as chord. Then what if I extend this line segment of chord outside the circle? Okay, समझो ये लेफ्ट साइड से बाहर आ गया यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे राइट साइड से ऐसे बाहर आ गया. Then you will call that as a secant. Okay, so this secant, it starts from outside the circle, it touches the circle at 2 points, and it again goes through the circle and comes out of the circle. Okay, so this will be called as a secant. And finally, if there's a secant touches the circle at 2 points, right? It is touching here as well as here. What if it is touching the circle only at 1 point? Okay, बाहर से ड्रॉ किया सर्कल के बट सर्कल को सिर्फ एक पॉइंट पे टच कर रहा है, 2 पॉइंट पे नहीं. Then you will call that as a tangent. Okay, so if you see this line is touching the circle only at 1 point over here, so this is called a tangent. Okay, so radius joins the center of the circle to any point on the circle. Diameter joins 2 points on the circle while passing through the center, whereas chord also joins 2 points on the circle, but it need not pass through the center. Okay, is diameter a chord? Diameter भी 2 पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन कर रहा है, राइट? So chord हो गया वो. The answer is yes. Diameter is a chord. In fact, diameter is the largest chord. Okay. So chord को फर्क नहीं पड़ता वो सेंटर से पास हो रहा है नहीं पास हो रहा है. Okay, सिर्फ diameter को फर्क पड़ता है. अगर सेंटर से पास हो रहा है तो ही diameter है. Whereas chord को फर्क नहीं पड़ता वो सेंटर से पास हो या ना हो, उसको बस सर्कल के 2 पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन करना है. If that is true, then it will be called as a chord. So diameter is also a chord. Okay. If the line segment is going outside the circle, then you will call it as a secant. And if a line drawn from outside the circle is touching the circle at only 1 point, then it is called as a tangent. Okay, and we're going to learn many things about tangent in this learning session. Okay, so our objective for today is going to be students will be able to solve problems based on tangents and its properties. So we know what a tangent is. Whenever a line is touching a circle at only 1 point, we'll call that as a tangent. Okay, and we're going to see many properties of tangent in today's learning session, and we should be able to solve problems based on tangents and its properties by the end of it. Okay, so let us see properties of tangent. So the first one is tangent theorem. What does it say? A tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius at that point of contact. Okay, so let us understand this statement through a diagram. Okay, so if this is my circle with center O, and line L is my tangent, and line L is touching the circle at point A. So what is it saying? What is this theorem saying? Radius at that point of contact. Point of contact यानी ये जो tangent है इस circle को कहाँ पे टच कर रहा है? Point A पे. So point A से अगर तुम लोगों ने एक radius draw कर दिया तो वो perpendicular हो जाएगा. क्या perpendicular हो जाएगा? Circle इस tangent को perpendicular हो जाएगा. So ये जो angle है वो 90 degrees हो जाएगा. Okay, I'm going to repeat this one more time. Whenever you draw a tangent to a circle, it is going to touch the circle at 1 point. At the same point of contact, if you draw another radius, then that radius is going to be perpendicular to that tangent. Okay, that's your tangent theorem. Okay, next is converge of tangent theorem. तो पिछले वाले में if you see, tangent पहले आया और फिर बाद में radius उसको perpendicular हो गया. Converge of tangent theorem में उल्टा होने वाला है. वो जो perpendicular है वो पहले से होगा. Okay, और because it is perpendicular, वो जो line है वो tangent बन जाएगा. Okay, so a line perpendicular to the radius at its point on the circle is a tangent to the circle. Okay, अगर कोई भी radius है एक line से perpendicular है जहां पे वो जो radius circle को touch कर रहा है तो वो जो line है वो tangent बन जाएगा. Okay, so in the first case this tangent was given, and because of tangent theorem radius was becoming perpendicular to the tangent. In converse, it is just a line. Okay, and this radius is perpendicular to this line. If the radius is perpendicular to the line where the radius is touching the circle, then this line becomes a tangent. So converse theorem ka ulta. Okay, and the last one is tangent segment theorem. What does it say? tangent segments drawn from an external point to a circle are congruent. So if this is my circle, circle with center O, and my external point is D. External यानी बाहर, internal यानी अंदर. So क्योंकि circle के बाहर point है, point D is your external point. Okay. So from this external point, I can draw two tangents. Okay. I cannot draw three tangents. Okay. I can at the most draw two tangents. If you want, you can try to draw it in your notebooks. So from D, I am drawing two tangents. One is upwards, one is going downwards. So what is it saying? Tangent segments drawn from an external point to a circle are congruent. तो जो segments है tangent के वो congruent हो जाएंगे या फिर equal हो जाएंगे. Congruent means equal. Okay. So what are the tangent segments over here? DP and DQ. Both of these are tangent segments जो एक एक्सटर्नल पॉइंट से ड्रॉ किए गए. सो ये दोनों इक्वल होने वाले हैं. सो हियर DP is going to be equal to DQ because of tangent segment theorem. So these three theorems we have learned. Tangent theorem, converse of tangent theorem, ये दोनों सेम ही है, बस given and theorem की वजह से जो consequence है वो interchange हो रहा है. Okay, and finally tangent segment theorem. These are the three theorems we have learned. Okay, if you want to remember these three theorems in three simple statements, you have to by heart these three statements. अगर तुम इन तीन statements को by heart कर लोगे, इन theorem में से क्या तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए वो तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा. Okay, so make sure you're by hearting these three statements. And using these three statements, you can solve the entire practice set 3.1. Okay, let's start doing that. So this is your question number 2. We are beginning with question number 2. Question number 1 we're going to do at the end. Okay, there are total 4 sums. All 4 sums we'll try to see in this particular learning session. Okay, so question number 2, what does it say? In the adjoining figure, O is the center of the circle. Okay, this is your circle, O is its center. From point R, seg Rm, seg का full form क्या है? Segment. Okay, तो segment Rm and segment Rn are tangent segments. Okay, so ये जो Rm है और Rn है, ये दोनों tangents है. Okay, to this circle. They are touching the circle at M and N. So ऊपर वाला जो tangent है सर्कल को M पॉइंट पे टच कर रहा है. नीचे वाला जो tangent segment है वो पॉइंट N पे सर्कल को टच कर रहा है. Then they have given you OR is equal to 10 centimeter. Okay, so OR is equal to 10 centimeters. Okay, the radius is 5 centimeters. Then they have asked 3 questions. First question, what is the length of each tangent segment? तो RM का क्या length है और RN का क्या length है? दोनों tangent segments का length find out करना है. Next, what is the measure of angle MRO? Where is angle MRO? MRO, right? So MRO is this angle. So ये छोटा angle हमें find out करना है, उसका measure क्या है? Finally, in the third question, they have asked, what is the measure of angle MRN? So MRN, this big angle. Okay, पहला, second वाले में छोटा angle पूछा है, third वाले में बड़ा angle पूछा है. Okay, so now I think we are ready to start solving these problems. Okay, so to solve the first part of this problem, these will be the steps. Okay, your first step is going to be to draw a neat, tidy and clear diagram. Once you draw a very clear diagram in any geometry sum, you get a very good understanding of what is happening in this problem. Okay, so our first step is going to be to draw a neat and tidy and clear diagram. Okay, so this is my diagram. What is different in this diagram as compared to the diagram given in the question? If you see, I have joined OM and ON. Both of them are radii of this circle, right? So OM and ON को join कर लिया. Both of them are given as 5 centimeters. Another thing which is different from the diagram given in the question is I have put perpendicular sign over here or right angle sign over here, right? Can I put that right angle sign over here? See, this is a tangent and this is a radius. So whenever a radius is drawn to a point where a tangent is drawn, then both of them are perpendicular to each other. ये किससे आया था? ये tangent theorem से आ गया था, right? जब भी एक tangent एक सर्कल को टच कर रहा है, जिस पॉइंट पे टच कर रहा है उसी पॉइंट पे अगर एक रेडियस बना दिया तो रेडियस और वो जो tangent है वो दोनों एक दूसरे को वो दोनों perpendicular होने वाले, right? So hence I can put the right angle sign over here as well as here using tangent theorem. So my first step is going to be use the tangent theorem. Okay, so let me use the tangent theorem. I'm going to say seg Rm and seg Rn are tangents to the circle with center O. This was given in the question and hence OMR. Where is OMR? Here. This angle is OMR. Next, ONR. Where is ONR? Over here. So these two angles are equal to 90 degrees using tangent theorem. Okay. Now, Look at this upper triangle. See, this is 5 centimeters and OR was given as 10 centimeters in the question. So you know 5 centimeters, you know 10 centimeters, and this is a right angle triangle. So in right angle triangles, whenever you know the length of two sides, you can find the third side using Pythagoras theorem. So let's use Pythagoras theorem in the upper triangle. Okay. So to use Pythagoras theorem, to first show that the triangle is a right angle triangle. So you say which triangle you're considering. You're considering triangle OMR. Okay, OMR. This is the upper triangle. Okay. So in triangle OMR, angle OMR is equal to 90 degrees. We have just proven that in the statement written above. Okay. So now that you know this is a right angle triangle, you can use Pythagoras theorem. What does Pythagoras theorem tell you? Hypotenuse square is equal to the sum of addition of the other two sides. We have used this so many times in the previous chapter, which was Pythagoras theorem. The question is, which is hypotenuse over here? यहाँ पे ये hypotenuse रखा है, right? लग रहा है RM. RM looks like the hypotenuse here, but it's the wrong answer. Okay, it's not the hypotenuse. What is hypotenuse? The side opposite 90 degrees hypotenuse. So which is 90 degree? Angle M is 90 degree. So angle M के सामने कौन सा side है? OR. So OR is your hypotenuse. Okay, you have to keep that in mind. You have to always check 90 degree के जो opposite है वो hypotenuse होगा. So angle M is 90 degree, उसके opposite OR है. So OR is the hypotenuse. So OR square is equal to OM square, ये radius, and RM square. Okay, RM square is the tangent segment. Now you substitute. OR was given as 10 centimeter in the question, OM was given as 5 centimeter in the question, and RM square you have to find. So 10 square is 100, 5 square is 25, 100 minus 25 you get a 75. Take square root on both sides, find square root of 75, that will come out to be 5 root 3. How? 75 you can write as 5 into 5 into 3, right? 5 into 5 25, 25 into 3 is 75. So जो कुछ भी नंबर अंदर दो बार मल्टीप्लाई हो रहा है वो बाहर आके एक बार हो जाएगा. So अंदर 5 into 5 हो रहा था वो बाहर आके एक बार हो गया. तो 5 root 3 centimeters. You cannot do anything about the root 3. Okay, you will keep it as it is. तो तुम्हें RM का वैल्यू तो मिल गया, but they have asked RM and RN's value in the question, right? So what you can do is you can do Pythagoras theorem again in the triangle which is on the lower side of OR. So इसमें जैसे Pythagoras theorem use किया वैसे यहाँ पे भी Pythagoras theorem करो, you will get the answer. Or what you can do is use the tangent segment theorem. What does the tangent segment theorem tell you? If you draw two tangents from an external point of a circle, the tangent segments are congruent. तो यहाँ पे R external point है, RM और RN दो tangent segments हैं जो उसी same point से draw किए. So both of them have to be congruent or both of them have to be equal using tangent segment theorem. So you say RM is equal to RN using tangent segment theorem. One more thing I wanted to point out was यहाँ पे मैंने diagram नीचे draw किया, right? But that's not the correct way to do it. When you're copying this in your notebooks or when you're solving sums in your exam, make sure you're drawing the diagram on the top right corner of the page. Okay, type top right of corner of the answer sheet. You have to draw the diagram. I did not draw it on the top right corner because I did not have space up there. That's why I've drawn it below. Okay, so you have also found now Rn. जो कुछ भी Rm का वैल्यू था सेम वैल्यू Rn का हो जाएगा. Why? Using tangent segment theorem. Now just put the final answer in pencil box. You know that length of each tangent segment is 5 root 3 centimeters. Just put that in a pencil box and you're done with the first part of the sum. Now let's move on to the second part. So the second part, it asks you to find the measure of angle MRO. What is angle MRO? MRO is over here. This smaller angle they are asking. So which theorem or property will you use? I'm going to give you a few hints. Okay. First thing to notice here is this is a right angle triangle. The second thing to notice is this is 5 centimeters and this is 10 centimeters. So right angle triangle, 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters. Does this ring a bell? I said bill, right? Does this ring a bell? Not bill. Does this ring a bell? Just think. So right angle triangle, one side is 5 centimeters. The one which is hypotenuse, it is 10 centimeters. Does this ring a bell? Which theorem, which property will you use? I'll give you all a few seconds to think about it. Okay, this is a hint from my side. Okay, were you able to use the hint and figure it out? Which theorem will be used? If not, I'll tell you the answer now. Okay, it was based on your previous chapter that we studied in geometry. जिसमें concept था 30, 60, 90 degree triangle का. Okay, how do I know this is a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle? I don't know. Okay, but what I know is एक एंगल 90 डिग्रीज है, यानी बाकी दो को मिला के 90 डिग्रीज आना चाहिए. द सेकंड थिंग आई नो इज हाइपोटेन्यूज 10 है और एक साइड हाइपोटेन्यूज का हाफ है. सो इन 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल ही ऐसा होता है, राइट? वन साइड, सो द साइड ऑपोजिट 30 डिग्री इज हाफ ऑफ हाइपोटेन्यूज, द साइड ऑपोजिट 60 डिग्री इज √3/2 ऑफ हाइपोटेन्यूज. तो अगर मुझे पता चल गया कि इस ऊपर वाले ट्राइंगल में one of the sides is half of the hypotenuse, I can say that it's a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. और उससे मुझे इस एंगल का मेजर मिल जाएगा, right? So let us see how to use that theorem now. So in the upper triangle, which is RMO, okay, RMO, in the upper triangle, OM is equal to 5 centimeters, OR is equal to 10 centimeters. Okay, both of this was given in the question. So OM becomes half of OR. OM 5 है, OR 10 है, so OM OR का half हो जाता है. And OR is your hypotenuse. Because OR is your hypotenuse, एक right angle triangle में one of the sides is half of hypotenuse, you can say angle MRO is 30 degrees. Why? Converse of 30, 60 degree, 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. Why converse? 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल में तुम्हें पहले से पता होता है कि वो 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल, और उसको यूज करके यू राइट द साइड ऑपोजिट 30 डिग्रीज इज हाफ ऑफ हाइपोटेन्यूज. बट यहाँ पे तुम्हें जो जो रिजल्ट पार्ट है वो तुम्हें पहले से पता था, राइट? दैट वन ऑफ द साइड्स इज इक्वल टू हाफ ऑफ हाइपोटेन्यूज, और उससे तुम लोग ने उससे तुम लोग ने लिखा कि वो जो उस साइड के ऑपोजिट जो एंगल है वो 30 डिग्री होगा. सो OM इज हाफ ऑफ हाइपोटेन्यूज. तो OM के सामने कौन सा एंगल है? एंगल ORM, राइट? एंगल ORM और एंगल MRO. सो ये 30 डिग्री हो गया. तो तुम लोगों ने भी उल्टा यूज किया है, 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल थ्योरम का उल्टा यूज किया, इसलिए तुम उसको उल्टा ऑफ 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल तो नहीं बोल सकते, तो उसको तुम कॉन्वर्स ऑफ 30, 60, 90 डिग्री ट्राइंगल बोलोगे. Okay, again you can do the same thing in the lower triangle. Okay, you can say okay, ON is half of RN, RN is the hypotenuse, ON is half of OR, OR is the hypotenuse, so the side opposite ON will be equal to 30 degrees Celsius, or not 30 degrees Celsius, I said Celsius, right? It will be equal to 30 degrees, and the reason will be again converse of 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, 30, 60, 90 degree theorem. But instead of writing this all steps again, what you can simply do is write similarly and say angle NRO is also 30 degree. Why are we finding angle NRO? See the third part. See angle MRN they are asking, right? What is angle MRN? So MRN के लिए तुम्हें क्या करना पड़ेगा? ये छोटा एंगल पता होना चाहिए, ये भी छोटा एंगल पता होना चाहिए. जैसे तुम्हें दोनों छोटे एंगल्स पता हो जाएंगे, दोनों को ऐड करके तुम्हें बड़ा एंगल मिल जाएगा. That's why you are also finding NRO, क्योंकि सेकंड पार्ट तो हो गया हमारा. सेकंड पार्ट में सिर्फ MRO पूछा था. MRO हम लोग ने ढूंढ लिया 30 डिग्रीज. नाउ टू फाइंड द बिगर एंगल यू आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड दिस सेकंड स्मॉलर एंगल सो दैट यू कैन ऐड बोथ ऑफ देम. सो अभी जो सेकंड एंगल फाइंड आउट करना है उसके लिए सेम स्टेप्स वापस रिपीट कर सकते हो, या फिर यू कैन जस्ट राइट सिमिलरली एंड राइट द रिजल्ट डायरेक्टली. ओके, दिस डिपेंड्स हाउ मेनी मार्क्स द क्वेश्चन इज फॉर. अगर ये बहुत ज्यादा मार्क्स के लिए पूछा है, 3 मार्क्स 4 मार्क्स, देन यू हैव टू डू द सेम स्टेप्स अगेन. अगर ये बहुत कम मार्क्स के लिए पूछा है, 1 मार्क 2 मार्क, देन यू कैन जस्ट राइट सिमिलरली एंड डायरेक्टली राइट द result. Okay, you need not write the same or similar steps again and again. Okay, we are also calling this as 1. Okay, I would say MRO को 30 degrees 1 बोला है, NRO को जो 30 degrees लिया उसको भी 2 बोल दो. Okay, so 1 and 2, you are ready with both the smaller angles. Now for the third part of the question, what you're going to do is use the angle addition property, right? एक बड़ा एंगल पूछा है, दोनों छोटे एंगल तुम्हें पता है उसके अंदर वाले, will just simply add the angles. Okay, so you say angle MRN, which is the bigger angle over here, is angle MRO, which is the smaller angle, upper smaller angle, and NRO, the lower smaller angle. उन दोनों को ऐड करके बड़ा एंगल आ जाएगा. Both of them are 30 degrees. You can write from 1 and 2. Okay, right? यहाँ पे इस स्टेटमेंट को 2 बोल दो. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, and here we will write from 1 and 2, and 30 plus 30 is 60 degrees. So that's what was asked, right? Angle MRN. So angle MRN is equal to 60 degrees. Put that in a pencil mode. So we are also done with the second part and the third part. Okay, so we are done with the second sum of practice at 3.1. Let's move ahead. This is the third sum of practice at 3.1. What are they saying? Segment RM and segment RN are tangent segments of a circle with center O. So ये तुम्हारा circle with center O है, and they're saying segment RM and RN are tangent segments. Okay, very similar to the previous sum. In fact, it's the exact same figure from our previous sum. Then what are they asking us to prove? They're asking us to prove that segment OR bisects angle MRN. MRN यहाँ पे है, एंगल एम आर एन को बाइसेक्ट करते हैं. बाई मतलब टू, सेक्ट यानी सेक्शंस बनाना. तो जब भी कोई चीज दूसरे किसी चीज को दो इक्वल पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर रही है, उससे विल यूज द वर्ड बाइसेक्ट. ओके, सो show that or prove that segment OR which is over here bisects यानी bisects यानी दो इक्वल पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर रहा है किसको? एंगल MRN. You have to show that this angle and this angle is equal. That you have already shown in the previous sum, right? So if you see the previous sum, इन दोनों को हमने 30 डिग्रीज बताया. एक जो छोटा एंगल है उसको 30 डिग्री बताया, दूसरा जो छोटा एंगल है उसको 30 डिग्री बनाया. So you can say OR is the bisector of angle MRN over here. But not just that, they've asked something extra in this sum. Okay, what is that extra bit? It bisects angle MRN. राइट साइड वाले एंगल को तो बाइसेक्ट कर ही रहा है, प्लस MON which is the angle on the left hand side, angle MON, इस एंगल को भी बाइसेक्ट कर रहा है, ये भी बताना है. Okay, so what do you think? What should be your approach? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about the approach. What approach will you take? See, in this particular chapter, I don't think I can give you steps to build skills, which you can just by heart and always use those steps to solve these sums. For each and every different sum, you have to think how you can solve this problem. What approach will you take? Which theorems will you use? So I can't give you a set of steps which can solve all the problems in even one problem set, let alone the entire chapter. So every time you have to think which theorem is applicable, which property can you use here, so on and so forth. So now think, what can you use here? Which theorem, which property can you use here? You have to show these two angles are equal. तो तुम बोल सकते हो OR is a bisector of MRN, and you have to show this angle MOR and angle NOR, ये जो दो छोटे एंगल्स हैं इनको भी इक्वल बताना है, so that you can say segment OR is a bisector of angle MON. So इन दोनों एंगल्स को तुम्हें इक्वल बताना है. What can you do? Okay, I hope you're done thinking. I hope you have some idea, you put some thought into what your approach should be. I'm going to tell you the approach. Okay, so what your approach can be is, again, there are so many ways to solve one particular problem. One of the ways is, you see there are two triangles being formed. One is the upper triangle and one is the lower triangle. If I somehow prove both these triangles are either similar or congruent, I can say all the angles are corresponding angles are equal, right? अगर इन दोनों ट्रायंगल्स को मैंने सिमिलर बता दिया या फिर इन दोनों ट्रायंगल्स को मैंने कॉन्ग्रुएंट बता दिया, तो सिमिलर ट्रायंगल्स और कॉन्ग्रुएंट ट्रायंगल्स के सारे करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स इक्वल हो जाते हैं. तो ये एंगल इक्वल टू ये एंगल आ जाएगा और ये एंगल इक्वल टू ये एंगल आ जाएगा, isn't it? So that is what is going to be my approach. Okay, so you have to prove the two triangles congruent. Okay, let us begin now. So to prove the two triangles congruent, you first tell which two triangles are you considering. You're considering triangle OMR. So OMR is over here, the upper triangle, and ONR is here, the lower triangle. इन दोनों triangles को तुम्हें congruent prove करना है. Okay, so first segment RM congruent, this is the congruent sign. Okay, equal to sign और इसके ऊपर एक छोटा सा wave बनाना है. So this is the congruent sign. Congruent means equal. Okay, so segment RM congruent to RN. RM यहाँ पे है, RN यहाँ पे, ये दोनों कैसे congruent हुए, ये दोनों equal कैसे हुए? Using tangent segment theorem, right? What does the tangent segment theorem say? Whenever you draw two tangent segments from an external point to a circle, both the tangent segments are congruent, right? So RM और RN congruent होगी using tangent segment theorem. फिर segment OM congruent to ON. OM यहाँ पे है, ON यहाँ पे है, दोनों radii of the same circle है, so reason will be radii of the same circle. Radius हमेशा same होता है. Next, segment OR congruent to segment OR. So OR यहाँ पे बीच में है, वो common side है, so reason will be common side. So all three sides are equal. When all three sides are equal, you say that the two triangles are congruent. And from which test? SSS का full form क्या है? Side, side, side. Okay, you have proved that three sides are equal, right? Hence, side tests of congruency से you know that these two triangles are congruent. Once you know that these two triangles are congruent, उनके सारे corresponding angles equal हो जाएंगे. So first angle they have written is MRO or NRO. MRO यहाँ पे ये छोटा angle and NRO. NRO is over here, ये छोटा angle. So ये दोनों angles equal हो गए. So you can say OR is bisector to MRN. Similarly, MOR and NOR. MOR is over here, ये वाला angle, and NOR is over here, यहाँ पे. So these two angles are also equal. So you can say OR is a bisector of angle MON, right? दो equal parts में divide करना. What will be the reason? इसका full form क्या है? CACT का corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Okay, this is the full form of CACT, corresponding angles of congruent triangles. I would recommend you write the full form. Okay, don't try to write the short form. We don't want to take any risk in the board exam. We will try our best to make a very good impression on the examiner. Okay, so try to write this in full form. Corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Okay, so now that you know कि ये angle और ये angle equal है, similarly ये angle और ये angle equal है, you can write segment OR bisects angle MRN and MON. Okay, so that's your sum number 3. Again, it was a very simple sum. The only thing that you had to do was figure out कि अगर तुम लोग ने इन दोनों triangles को similar या congruent proof कर दिया तो सब कुछ बहुत easily आ जाएगा. That's all you needed to do, and you know how to prove two triangles similar triangle. We have had so much practice on that. Okay, let's move ahead. Question number 4. Question number 4 asks, what is the distance between two parallel tangents of a circle having radius 4.5 centimeters? Justify your answer. So let us start drawing a diagram now. So पहले तो हमें एक circle draw करना पड़ेगा. So here is my circle. फिर you have to draw two parallel tangents. दो tangents draw करना है और दोनों tangents parallel होने चाहिए. Okay. So here are my two parallel tangents. Now they are saying that radius is 4.5 centimeters. Okay. और हमें क्या फाइंड आउट करना है? डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द टू पैरेलल टेंजेंट्स. ये जो दो पैरेलल टेंजेंट्स है उनके बीच में क्या डिस्टेंस है ये फाइंड आउट करना. और रेडियस का वैल्यू दे दिया. इट सीम्स लाइक अ वेरी इजी सम, राइट? आई मीन इट्स सो इजी. ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये पूछा भी क्यों. ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे हम लोग एक रेडियस ड्रॉ कर देंगे और उसका लेंथ क्या है? 4.5 सेंटीमीटर क्वेश्चन में दिया है. सिमिलरली नीचे भी एक रेडियस ड्रॉ कर लेंगे, उसका भी लेंथ क्या है? 4.5 सेंटीमीटर, वो भी क्वेश्चन में दिया है. सो रेड का जो लेंथ है प्लस पर्पल का जो लेंथ है दोनों को ऐड कर दो, 9 आ जाएगा. सो योर आंसर विल बी 9. ओके, एंड दैट इज द करेक्ट आंसर. आई एम टेलिंग यू नाउ इटसेल्फ, 9 is the correct answer. But finding the answer was not that difficult. Challenging part is not finding the answer. The hard part is not finding the answer. The hard part here is justifying your answers. Justify any correct reasons देने हैं क्यों 9 सेंटीमीटर होगा. Okay, so to give reasons to justify that वो 9 सेंटीमीटर होगा, you'll have to show कि जो रेड लाइन है और ये जो पर्पल लाइन है वो लोग दोनों स्ट्रेट लाइन फॉर्म कर रहे हैं. ओनली व्हेन देयर इज अ स्ट्रेट लाइन यू कैन से ओके ये जो छोटा पार्ट है और ये जो छोटा पार्ट है दोनों को ऐड करके बड़ा पार्ट आ जाएगा. अगर ये स्ट्रेट लाइन नहीं है, अगर ये ऐसा थोड़ा टेढ़ा है, ओके, सो आई कैन से ये दो इस पार्ट को ऐड, इस छोटे पार्ट को ऐड करो, इस छोटे पार्ट को ऐड करो और ये जो बीच का डिस्टेंस है वो आ जाएगा. ये तभी नहीं हो पाएगा जब ये कर्व्ड है. जब ये स्ट्रेट लाइन होगा तभी दैट वुड बी ट्रू. Okay, so this red line and this purple line have to be straight. Only then you can say 4.5 plus 4.5 will come to be 9. And once that is 9 centimeters, you can say the distance between the two parallel lines is 9 centimeters. Okay, so now you have understood what's the challenging part of this question. Challenging part is को straight line कैसे पता है. Now think how will you prove this? Prove the line made by red and the purple line as straight line. Think about it. Okay, what are you able to think? What is the approach you're going to take? What is the theorem? Which theorem are you going to use? Which property are you going to use to justify your answer? The answer is you'll have to draw a construction. बीच में भी एक line draw कर दो. And while we're drawing this line, तुम लोग को अगर ये लाइन को स्ट्रेट प्रूफ करना है तो ये जो एंगल होगा रेड और पर्पल लाइन के बीच में उसको 180 डिग्री बता दो. इफ यू आर एबल टू प्रूव और इफ यू आर एबल टू शो दैट द एंगल बिटवीन रेड एंड द पर्पल लाइन इज 180 degrees, then you can say that it's a straight line. Okay, तो अभी इसको 180 डिग्री कैसे बताओगे तुम? तो बीच में एक और लाइन बना दो और ये लाइन बनाने के बाद ऊपर एक एंगल आएगा, नीचे का एंगल आएगा. अगर वो दोनों एंगल 90 डिग्री हो गए तो 90 plus 90 180 आ जाएगा. You'll have to draw a line in between and then solve the sum. Okay, also in this sum you'll also need to know what are corresponding angles. Okay, So let us quickly revise what are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are formed when there are two parallel lines and there is a transversal. What is the meaning of transversal? जो भी parallel lines को एक line cut करता है उसको हम लोग transversal बोलते हैं. Okay. So then what are corresponding angles? जब भी F ये shape form होता है parallel lines के वजह से वहां पे corresponding angles मिलेंगे. Okay. So this is one pair of corresponding angles. ये ऊपर वाला right side ऊपर, यहाँ पे भी right side ऊपर. सिमिलरली एक और पेयर क्या है, करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स आर ऑलवेज इक्वल. तो अगर ये 110 है तो ये भी 110. सिमिलरली लेफ्ट साइड ऊपर, लेफ्ट साइड ऊपर, सो ये दोनों भी करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स है, बोथ ऑफ देम विल बी इक्वल. अनदर पेयर विल बी राइट साइड नीचे, राइट साइड नीचे, सो ये लोग दोनों भी करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स है एंड दे आर गोइंग टू बी इक्वल. फाइनली लेफ्ट साइड नीचे और लेफ्ट साइड नीचे, both of these are corresponding pair of corresponding angles, both of them are going to be equal and we're going to use this in our problem. Okay, corresponding angle theorem. Okay, corresponding angles, alternate angles, vertically opposite angles, interior angle theorem, all these theorems will generally be used throughout our geometry. Okay, so these are very basic theorems which you have to know, and it should always be fresh in your mind. Okay, so these are our steps. Just look at the construction I have made. Okay, so I've drawn this circle with center O. PQ is my upper tangent. RS is my lower tangent. PQ is touching the circle at point M. RS is touching the circle at point N. And I've drawn AB, which is parallel to RN. Okay. So this diagram we had not drawn. Sorry, this diagram was not given in the question, right? We have drawn this diagram by ourselves. So you'll have to write the assumptions. So in assumptions, you write lines PQ and RS are two parallel tangents to the circle M and. Okay, let me read that statement again slowly. Let the lines PQ and RS be the two parallel tangents to circle at M and N respectively. इसका मतलब क्या है? PQ हमारा एक tangent है जो circle को M पे meet हो रहा है and RS हमारा एक tangent है तो circle को N पे meet हो रहा है. Okay, now you talk about the construction. क्या construction किया तुमने? Okay, you have constructed through center O draw line AB parallel to RS. तो यहाँ पे center O है, वहां से तुम लोग ने एक line draw किया है which is line AB and that is parallel to line RS. Okay, if you have drawn this construction, only then you will be able to solve it further and prove that angle MON is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Okay. Also, what was given in the question? Radius was given, right? So OM is a radius and ON is also a radius. So OM is equal to ON is equal to 4.5 centimeters. Did they give the units? Let me check. Yes, they've given centimeters, right? So they are 4.5 centimeters. You can write centimeters over here. Okay, and that's given in the question. Now all you have to do is prove that this angle is 180. Angle MON. ये जो angle है इसको 180 prove कर दिया, then it's very easy. You will just add 4.5 plus 4.5 and that will be your answer. Okay. Now how do you prove angle MON as equal to 180 degree? That's a challenging question. That's a challenging thing. Okay, so just pay attention, pay complete attention, focus completely to see how we are doing that. Okay, great. So first, AB parallel to RS. AB is our construction and we have drawn it parallel to RS. So that is through construction. So AB parallel to RS हो गया. Next, PQ parallel to RS. PQ was parallel to RSQ. That was again given in the question, right? वो जो दो parallel lines है, वो जो दो tangents है, वो दोनों parallel है, ये question में दिया था. Okay. So AB parallel to RS construction से आ गया and PQ parallel to RS given से आ गया. तो इसका मतलब क्या, दोनों के right hand side में देखो, right hand side में दोनों RS है, तो left side में जो दो होंगे वो लोग भी parallel होंगे एक दूसरे को. Okay. So it means all three lines are parallel to each other. So AB is parallel to PQ is parallel to RS. तो ये तीनों lines एक दूसरे को parallel है. Okay. Next, what I told you, right? We're going to use corresponding angle theorem. So what we're going to do, इसको अगर हमें 180 प्रूफ करना है तो इस छोटे एंगल को 90 प्रूफ कर देंगे and इस छोटे एंगल को 90 प्रूफ कर देंगे. Okay, and there are so many ways to prove those angles as 90 degrees. You can either use corresponding angle theorem, you can also use interior angle theorem. Interior angle theorem से अगर ये 90 है तो ये एंगल प्लस ये एंगल 180 आ जाएगा, तो इसको भी 90 होना पड़ेगा. Similarly, you can do this for this angle. Okay, or you can use corresponding angle theorems as they have used over here. Okay, let us see how to do that. एंगल OMP which is over here, okay, OMP, ये एंगल की बात हो रही है, एंड एंगल ONR is equal to 90 डिग्रीज, तो ONR over here है, so ये एंगल और ये एंगल 90 डिग्रीज है using tangent theorem, okay. What does the tangent theorem tell you? Whenever you draw a tangent to a circle and जिस पॉइंट पर सर्कल को टच कर रहा है वहीं से रेडियस ड्रॉ कर दिया, then that radius will be perpendicular to that tangent, right? That's tangent theorem. So this is your tangent and उसी पॉइंट पे जहां पे टच कर रहा है उस सर्कल को, उसी पॉइंट पे रेडियस ड्रॉ कर दिया, तो 90 डिग्रीज हो जाएगा, ओके. सो इसलिए दोनों एंगल्स 90 डिग्रीज हो गए, ये एंगल और ये एंगल. यूजिंग tangent theorem you call that as 1. Okay, next. PQ parallel to AB. PQ is over here, AB is over here. So PQ is parallel to AB. तो यहाँ पे corresponding angles कौन से है? OMP and NOA. Okay. So if you see OMP and NOA के जगह पे वो लोग ने AON यूज किया. Okay. So OMP and AON. So these two angles are corresponding angles. So these two will be equal, right? Corresponding angles are always equal. So you will say both of them are equal and they are equal to 90, क्योंकि अगर OMP 90 डिग्रीज है तो इसको भी 90 डिग्रीज होना पड़ेगा, राइट? अगर ये 90 डिग्रीज है तो ये एंगल भी 90 डिग्रीज हो जाएगा. सो यूजिंग करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स एंड फ्रॉम वन, कि उसमें से एक एंगल 90 डिग्रीज था, तुम बोल सकते हो कि ये एंगल और ये एंगल 90 डिग्रीज है, एंड यू आर टेकिंग दिस एज सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट. सिमिलरली अभी नीचे वाले के लिए कर लो. RS is parallel to AB, right? RS parallel to AB. So RS parallel to AB. यहाँ पे कौन से दो करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स है? इस एंगल को और इस एंगल को करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स ले लो. सो इफ दिस इज 90 डिग्रीज, सो दिस एंगल विल आल्सो बी 90 डिग्रीज. पहले वाले में इसको और इसको यूज करके 90 बताया था. सिमिलरली अभी इसमें नीचे में इसको और इसको यूज करके 90 डिग्रीज बता देंगे. तो सेम स्टेप इज ओवर हियर. एंगल ONR, यहाँ पे नीचे वाला एंगल ONR इज इक्वल टू एंगल AOM. AOM कहाँ पे? यहाँ पे AOM, ये वाला एंगल, and both of them will be equal to 90 again using corresponding angles and from 1. Okay, so अगर उसमें से एक एंगल 90 डिग्री है तो दूसरा एंगल भी 90 डिग्री हो जाएगा. So I've used corresponding angles. पहले ये और ये एंगल यूज करके इसको 90 बता दिया. सिमिलरली फिर ये और ये एंगल को यूज करके 90 डिग्रीज बता दिया. Okay, I have taken that as statement number 3. Now AON plus AOM. AON कहाँ पे? AON यहाँ पे है. AON यहाँ पे नीचे वाला, AON यहाँ पे है, एंड AOM ऊपर वाला है, यहाँ वाला एंगल. सो AON प्लस AOM दोनों 90 डिग्रीज है फ्रॉम 2 and 3. यहाँ पे AON को 90 डिग्री बताया, यहाँ पे AOM को 90 डिग्री बताया. सो फ्रॉम 2 and 3 यू कैन से दोनों को ऐड करके 90 plus 90 आ जाएगा. We have still not proven angle MON is equal to 180. We are still under that process. Okay. So इन दोनों एंगल्स को ऐड करके 180 डिग्रीज हो गया. So angle AON and angle AOM form a linear pair. Okay, linear pair यानी क्या? Whenever addition of two angles is 180 degree, you say that those are linear pair. Linear क्यों? Linear यानी line. Okay, so अगर एक लाइन है और बीच में मैंने एक और लाइन बना दिया, तो ये जो छोटा एंगल है और ये जो छोटा एंगल है वो दोनों linear pair में आ जाएंगे. और linear pair की क्या खासियत होती है? दोनों को ऐड करके 180 डिग्री आएगा. So linear pair कौन से वर्ड से आता है? लाइन से. तो जब ऑलरेडी एक लाइन होगा और बीच में तुम कोई तो एक छोटा सा एक और लाइन बना दोगे, तब वो लीनियर पेयर बनेगा और तभी दोनों को ऐड करके 180 डिग्री आ गए. तो अभी दोनों को ऐड करके 180 डिग्री तो आ गए, तो इसका मतलब क्या है? वो जो नीचे वाला लाइन था वो स्ट्रेट लाइन है. सो यहाँ पे तुम्हारा ऑलरेडी ये लाइन था, उस पर तुम लोग ने कंस्ट्रक्शन बना दिया. सो अगर ये दोनों को ऐड करके 180 आ रहा है, इसका मतलब क्या है कि ये जो MON है वो स्ट्रेट लाइन है. ओके, सो AON and AOM are forming a linear pair. Ray OM and ray ON are on opposite sides. Where is OM? OM is over here, ऊपर. ON is over here, नीचे. So दोनों opposite sides में है. तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि ये एक straight line है. MON is in a straight line. इसका मतलब है points M, O and N are collinear. Collinear यानी same line पे lie करते हैं. Okay? So these terms you need to remember. Okay? These terms won't be revised again and again. Linear pair यानी दोनों को ऐड करके 180 डिग्रीज आ रहा है. कोलिनियर यानी सेम लाइन पे लाई कर रहा है. सो अगर MON स्ट्रेट लाइन हो गया तो एंगल पॉइंट M, पॉइंट O and पॉइंट N, all of them will lie on the same line. Okay, so that you take as statement number 4. Now you can simply add them, right? MN तुम्हें फाइंड आउट करना है. MN is the distance between the two parallel lines. तो MN क्या हो जाएगा? MO plus ON. So MN is equal to MO plus ON. ओके, इसका रीजन क्या लिखना पड़ेगा? M dash O dash N. M dash O dash N का मतलब क्या है? ये तीनों सेम लाइन पे लाई करते हैं. और एक लाइन है, कैसे पता है तुम्हें? स्टेटमेंट नंबर 4 से, क्योंकि वो लोग दोनों तीनों सेम लाइन पे लाई करते हैं. ओके, नाउ जस्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट एंड ऐड. So OM is 4.5, ON is 4.5, 4.5 plus 4.5, 9 centimeters. So this was the easy part. ये तो हम लोग ने पहले भी कर लिया था. करेक्ट आंसर तो हम लोग को 5 सेकंड सोच के और एक रफ डायग्राम बना के आ गया था. What was the difficult part here was proving that MON is a straight line. Okay, उसके लिए हमें इसको 180 डिग्रीज प्रूव करना था. उसके लिए हम लोग ने कंस्ट्रक्शन किया. कंस्ट्रक्शन करके इस एंगल को 90 पता, इस एंगल को 90 पता, दोनों को ऐड करके 180 आ गया, और दोनों को ऐड करके 180 आ गया, यानी ये MON तीनों एक ही लाइन पे लाई करते हैं. ओके, हेंस वी कुड ऐड MO plus ON is equal to 4.5 plus 4.5 is equal to 9 centimeters. So just put your final answer in the pencil box. Distance between the two parallel tangents is PQ. Two parallel tangents PQ and RS is 9 centimeters, and put that in pencil box. Okay, so that's that. Okay, and it looks very difficult, but to be honest, very simple once you know what you have to do, and once you see similar type of sums, once you see 2 3 similar type of sums, it becomes easier. Okay, great. Now the last question remaining is question number 1. Okay, it's a very simple question, that's why I've kept it at last. I have done all the difficult sums, not difficult, a little challenging, because उसमें कोई steps नहीं दे सकता मैं तुम्हें. हमेशा तुम्हें सोचना पड़ेगा कौन सा theorem यूज कर सकते हैं, कौन सा property यूज कर सकते हैं. But after you have done those 3 sums, the first sum should be very easy. Okay, let me read the question for you. In the adjoining figure, the radius of a circle with center C is 6 centimeter. Okay, तो ये जो circle with center C है उसका radius है 6 centimeter. Then line AB is a tangent at A. So line AB is a tangent at point A. Tangent at point A मतलब क्या है? वो जो tangent है point A पे touch कर रहा है circle को. Answer the following questions. What is the measure of angle CAB? Angle CAB. Now, should I tell you the answer? It's so simple, right? You just join CA. CA will be perpendicular to AB using tangent theorem. So angle CAB 90 degrees हो जाएगा. So you have to give that reason. One line statement. Okay, one line answer. Next. What is the distance of point C from line AB? So point C का distance ढूंढना line AB से. So यानी हमें CA का value बताना है. डिस्टेंस ऑफ पॉइंट सी फ्रॉम ए बी क्या हो जाएगा? सी का वैल्यू. तो सी का वैल्यू क्या है? सी तो एक रेडियस है, रेडियस तुम्हें पता है 6 सेंटीमीटर. सो अगेन आंसर वन और 2 लाइंस में आ जाएगा, वेरी सिंपल. देन डिस्टेंस ए बी इज इक्वल टू 6. ओके, ये जो डिस्टेंस ए बी है इसको 6 सेंटीमीटर पता है, तो हमें बी सी ढूंढना है. सो अभी ये सी ए बी जो है वो एक राइट एंगल ट्रायंगल बन जाएगा. सी ए बी एक बार राइट एंगल ट्रायंगल बन गया, उसमें तुम्हें ये साइड पता है 6 सेंटीमीटर्स बिकॉज ऑफ रेडियस, ये साइड तुम्हें पता है 6 सेंटीमीटर्स बिकॉज इट्स गिवन ओवर हियर. तो BC इज द हाइपोटेन्यूज, वो तुम फाइंड आउट कर सकते हो, राइट, पाइथागोरस थ्योरम यूज करके. सो यूजिंग पाइथागोरस थ्योरम यू विल फाइंड द आंसर फॉर द थर्ड क्वेश्चन. ओके, फाइनल क्वेश्चन, measure of angle ABC. तो ABC over here, that you figure out by yourself. Measure of angle ABC कैसे निकालोगे? Yeah, that you have to find by yourself. Okay, so I'm waiting for 5 seconds for you all to read the question and solve it by yourself. I've already told you all, or rather discussed the solutions with you all. सिर्फ last one का तुम्हें खुद से थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगाना है. Okay, so I'll wait for 5 seconds for you to pause the video here and try to solve all 4 questions by yourself. And once you solve those questions, then you will cross check and see where you are making mistakes. Okay, and then we're going to improve on those mistakes. We're going to rectify those mistakes. Okay, I'll wait for 5 seconds. Okay, I hope you're done solving the sum. Now let us cross check the answers. Okay, so first part, as I told you, is a one line answer. Okay, line AB is tangent to the circle with center C and radius AC. तो एंगल सी ए बी तुम लोग का डायरेक्टली 90 डिग्रीज हो जाएगा यूजिंग टैंजेंट थ्योरम. उसको पॉइंट नंबर या स्टेटमेंट नंबर 1 बोल दो. सेकंड, सेगमेंट सी ए इज परपेंडिकुलर टू लाइन ए बी. सी ए जो है वो परपेंडिकुलर है लाइन ए बी को, राइट, और ये हमें फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट से आता है क्योंकि 90 डिग्रीज था, इसकी वजह से. एंड अनदर थिंग यू नो इज रेडियस विच इज ए सी. ओके, ए सी इज द रेडियस जस्ट 6 सेंटीमीटर्स. तो डिस्टेंस ऑफ पॉइंट सी फ्रॉम लाइन ए बी is 6 सेंटीमीटर्स. डायरेक्टली क्यों नहीं लिखा? उसको ये क्यों लिखना पड़ा कि सी और ए बी परपेंडिकुलर है? द रीजन इज, जब भी हम लोग को पूछा जाता है कि एक पॉइंट का एक लाइन से क्या डिस्टेंस है, यू ऑलवेज कंसिडर परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस. तुम लोग यहां से मेजर नहीं कर सकते, ये टेढ़ा हो गया, राइट. सो ये टेढ़ा तुम लोग मेजर नहीं कर सकते डिस्टेंस. जब भी डिस्टेंस ऑफ अ पॉइंट फ्रॉम अ लाइन पूछा है, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू कंसिडर द परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस. इसलिए तुम्हें बताना पड़ेगा ये जो सेगमेंट है ये परपेंडिकुलर है इस लाइन को। तो इसके लिए हम लोग ने यहाँ पे ये स्टेटमेंट लिखा है, ओके, फ्रॉम 1, and you know that distance AB is 6 centimeter because it's the radius, and hence your answer. Okay, so the first two questions were very easy. Let's see the third, and you just had to use Pythagoras theorem here. Okay, so कौन से ट्रायंगल में Pythagoras theorem यूज करो? CAB. So CAB is over here. उसमें कौन सा एंगल 90 डिग्रीज है? एंगल CAB is 90 डिग्रीज. So that's from 1, right? यहाँ पे हम लोग ने फाइंड आउट किया था कि वो 90 डिग्रीज है. जब भी पाइथागोरस थ्योरम यूज कर रहे हैं, टू थिंग्स शुड बी क्लियर, कौन सा ट्रायंगल तुम लोग यूज कर रहे हो और कौन सा एंगल उसमें से 90 डिग्री, ओनली देन यू कैन यूज पाइथागोरस थ्योरम. ओके, यूज द पाइथागोरस थ्योरम. BC square, okay, will be equal to AB square plus AC square. AB square is here, AC square is here. Okay, now substitute. AB भी 6 है, AC भी 6 है, तो 6 square plus 6 square, 6 square 36 आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे भी 36 आ जाएगा. So 36 plus 36, whatever is the answer, 36 plus 36 is 60, 72 आ जाएगा, right? A smart thing that they have done is they knew कि हमें 20, हम लोग BC स्क्वायर निकाल रहे हैं, राइट? सो इंस्टेड ऑफ राइटिंग दिस एज 72, उनको पता था कि हम लोग स्क्वायर रूट लेने वाले हैं, तो स्क्वायर रूट लेने वाले हैं तो उसको वैसे के वैसे रखा, 6 स्क्वायर को वैसे के वैसे रखा, 6 स्क्वायर प्लस 6 स्क्वायर यानी 2 into 6 स्क्वायर. तो 6 स्क्वायर को वैसे के वैसे रख दिया, तो जो कुछ भी अंदर 2 बार मल्टीप्लाई हो रहा है बाहर आके 1 बार हो जाएगा, तो 6 बाहर आ गया, 6 रूट 2 सेंटीमीटर आ गया. सो इट्स अ स्मार्ट वे टू डू दैट. अगर ये नहीं कर पाए तुम, तो तुमने क्या किया होगा, 6 स्क्वायर इज 36, 6 स्क्वायर इज 36, 36 प्लस 36 72 लिखा होगा, फिर 72 के फैक्टर्स निकाल के फिर बाद में तुम लोग को 6 रूट 2 आया होगा. आइदर वे इज ओके, बट ये थोड़ा स्मार्ट वे है. ओके, तो थर्ड क्वेश्चन भी आ गया. BC we found out to be 6 root 2 centimeter. Fourth question is important, okay, और and interesting. Fourth question में एंगल ABC पूछा, तो ये एंगल कैसे फाइंड आउट करोगे? The hint was ये 90 डिग्रीज है, और so basically it's a right angle triangle, और right angle triangle में दो साइड्स इक्वल है, AC is equal to AB. So right angle triangle में जब दो साइड्स इक्वल होते हैं, which property can you use? You can use the isosceles triangle theorem, right? You can use the isosceles triangle theorem. This is one way to solve the sum. The other way is saying ये 45 45 90 degree triangle है. Okay, how do you know that it is a 45 45 95 degree triangle? If you see, okay, ये 6 root 2 आ गया बराबर, तो root 2 multiplied by 6. So root 2 multiplied by 6, what do you know about 45 45 90 degree triangle? The side opposite 45 degree is 1 by root 2 of hypotenuse, right? तो वो लॉजिक यूज करके भी तुम you can use 45 45 90 degree triangle and you can find the answer, or you can use the isosceles triangle theorem. Isosceles मतलब a triangle which has two sides equal is called as isosceles triangle. A triangle which in which all three sides are equal is called as equilateral triangle. And a triangle which does not have any two equal sides, none of the sides are equal to any other side, it is called as scalene triangle. Okay, all these terms need to be very clear when you're talking about geometry. कोई भी साइड्स इक्वल नहीं है यानी स्केलिन ट्रायंगल, दो साइड्स इक्वल है यानी आइसोसेलेस ट्रायंगल, तीनों साइड्स इक्वल है यानी इक्विलैटरल ट्रायंगल. ओके, okay, so you have to use isosceles triangle theorem. So in triangle ABC, यानी ये ट्रायंगल AC is equal to AB is equal to 6 centimeter. We knew that. उसकी वजह से उसके ऑपोजिट जो एंगल है, अभी AC के ऑपोजिट कौन सा है? AC is over here. AC के ऑपोजिट ये एंगल है, so angle ABC. Okay, so angle ABC will be equal to, दूसरा कौन सा इक्वल साइड है? AB. So AB के ऑपोजिट कौन सा एंगल है? AB के ऑपोजिट ये एंगल, so that is angle ACB. Okay, angle ACB. So they have written ABC equal to ACB. और जो दो इक्वल साइड्स है उनके ऑपोजिट जो एंगल्स है वो दोनों इक्वल हो जाएंगे. So let both of, again the reason you write for that is isosceles triangle theorem. Okay, next let those two angles be x, क्योंकि हमें उसमें उसको हमें इक्वेशन में पुट करना है, राइट? So let both of these angle be x. Okay, so now take this triangle and add all the angles. सारे एंगल्स को ऐड करके ट्रायंगल का 180 डिग्री आता है, राइट? सो ऐड ऑल द एंगल्स एंड यू गेट 180 डिग्री. द रीजन विल बी सम ऑफ द मेजर्स ऑफ एंगल्स ऑफ अ ट्रायंगल इज 180 डिग्रीज. ओके, पूरा स्टेटमेंट लिखना है तुम्हें. ओके, सो नाउ सब्स्टिट्यूट. CAB यू नो इज एंगल A इज 90 डिग्रीज, और ABC और ACB को हम लोग ने x ले लिया. सो x प्लस x विल बिकम 2x. 90 डिग्रीज को उस तरफ ले लो तो 180 माइनस 90 हो जाएगा, विच इज 90. फिर हमने 2 को नीचे ले लो, so divide both sides by 2, you get 90 divided by 2, 45. So ABC is equal to 45. So this is one way to do it, isosceles triangle theorem use करके. The other way to do this is using the property of 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. Okay, both of them are okay, but make sure you're writing the steps clearly. Make sure you're writing the reasons very clearly. Okay, so angle ABC हमें 45 degrees आ गया. So we are also done with the fourth part of sum number 1. Okay, so we have completed the entire practice set. So that's it for this learning session. Just check whether you have achieved today's learning objective or not. Will you be able to solve problems based on tangents and its properties if I give you a few new problems? Okay, it seems challenging because there are no particular steps. Okay, ऐसा कोई पक्का steps नहीं कि ये steps करोगे तो तुम्हें आंसर आ जाएगा. इसमें you every time you have to think which property can you use, which theorem can you use. You have to systematically and logically think every time and do the steps. So if you practice a few sums again and again, I think you'll start getting that. You'll start guessing the correct steps. Okay, the only difference between you and me is I have seen many sums. I've solved much more sums than y'all. That's why it becomes easy for me. So once you all solve many problems, it will become easy for you as well. Okay, so that's it for this learning session. Check whether you have achieved today's learning objective, and I hope you understood everything, and we'll meet each other in the next one. Till then, bye and peace.